Hi, welcome back to the Jokes by Jay podcast. I am so excited that tonight I finally have my best friend forever, Lindsey.
That's me.
She's here. She's real. I wasn't lying. I have friends. No. And I'm super, super excited.
I'm very excited to be here.
So, Lindsey, I just want to tell you guys, she's kind of a big deal. You are.
Okay.
Lindsey is in a lot of ways like we're very much like ebony and ivory because of our hair color mostly. And I started dyeing mine blonde and you wonder why. But so Lindsey, how tall are you?
6'1".
She's 6'1". I'm 5'5". So basically Lindsey is everything I want to be. And it's okay because we know that about each other and it's fine. Yeah. She knows I'm very insecure.
But it's like vice versa. Like I have zero curves. I am a full stick. And so I would die to have like your curves. Like that's my dream.
I would die to be a stick. So you see how we complement each other very nicely. It's really great. We are both drinking a very rare tea. Mm-hmm. It's actually not drank. It's not hot. It's a room temperature tea. It's called Pinot Noir. Mm-hmm. Very good. So I'm drinking this out of a very, very special mug that is very dear to me that I use every single day.
You do?
I do.
Wow.
I drink my coffee out of it every morning. Oh. And so I'm going to so this says, "You're my person." And on this side, it's two girls, one with blonde hair. Notice that the hair is shorter than the girl with dark hair. And it says best friends. They have a jacket. And this says Lindsey and Janine. And Lindsey got this for me for Christmas. And I use it religiously every day.
I just still think it was the cutest thing I've ever seen. It was like an Instagram ad, and I saw it and was like, oh, I knew you, of all people, would love that.
When she got this for me, I actually look like this. So mostly I drink out of it just for sentimental reasons. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's really great. I love it so much. So I'm drinking my Pinot Noir tea. Mm-hmm. Cheers.
Cheers.
Yep. It's very good tea. I highly suggest it. It's top shelf Ralph's
very
tea.
Flavorful.
Mm-hmm. Mm. So if our teeth turn red, that's just because of the tea.
Because it's a very
rare Indian tea.
Grape tea.
Yeah. It's very like most teas are from, it doesn't matter. So this is super exciting. So my first episode that I launched on this podcast, I talked to you guys about, I went on this trip to Big Bear for New Year's with my best friend.
Which, by the way, I listened to that and was like, you didn't bring any beauty products? You were like, I had nothing. And you came in, because I thought you just needed something stronger.
I was honored that at one point in the trip, she said, "Can I borrow one of your Neutrogena makeup removing wipes?" Gladly. I said, "Please take two," because I felt so just not prepared for this trip.
That's all you brought? I can't even think with that.
You know, you unfortunately never came into the bathroom. It is all toothpaste and toothbrush and the wipes.
That's insane.
So first of all, I want to just say something right now. So Lindsey and I are very close in age. Very close.
Not that close. We're years apart.
No, we're a year and 4 months apart, to be honest with you. Okay. I'm sorry, a year, 4 months and 1 day apart. And so Lindsey does not look like her age. And the reason is, I feel, because, I mean, maybe good genes.
It is all about genes.
It is genes because her mom, how old is your mom?
She's like late 70s.
She looks like she's 56.
Yeah,
I don't understand what's happening. Her mom is gorgeous. Great shape. Like she does not look her age. When she told me, I remember her 70th birthday because her mom lives 2 doors down from me.
Yeah.
I literally could not believe it. So it's definitely genes, but also like my grandmother, who was 92 a couple of years ago when she passed away, didn't look it.
No.
So I don't understand. Doesn't matter. I take after maybe my dad's side, but my point is that Lindsey looks incredible. And I do, yes, it's genes, but it's also like she does a lot of things without trying so hard. And part of it is, I think, and you can tell everyone.
I
like
try very hard.
It doesn't seem that way though. Like there are supplements that you take that I noticed that on that trip.
That's trying hard. Like I have to like buy those every month. And I have to take them and remember that. Like my, whatever, all my like.
Do you feel like you have like early onset of dementia? That's hard for you to remember. What do you mean you have to try hard?
Every day, like No, I'm just saying it's effort every day.
No,
I
it's
wake
not.
up, I take my probiotic. I make sure that I have my enzymes. I make sure I have whatever, my collagen in my coffee.
Wait,
every
I
day.
just want to
And
stop.
then-
Full
and
stop.
that's just the supplements that go inside the body.
I take my probiotic at night before I go to bed. Is that bad? Should I take it in the morning?
I don't think it matters. As long as you're not eating.
The only thing I'm taking is my probiotic and my vitamin D.
Well, what type of probiotic? Because some probiotics you take with food and some you take on an empty stomach.
I don't know. I don't read the directions. Just take one at night.
Oh, if it
You're
says
lucky
take
I'm
it at
doing that.
night.
It does. I don't know what it says.
Okay.
Okay, I'll read it later. But my point is that she had all this beauty. I talked about this. If you didn't see it, go back to episode 1 and watch it. I was amazed, and I was like, this is why, like, I also just like, okay, first of all, we're two different people, clearly. She's tall, gorgeous, blonde, like blue eyes. So literally if she puts mascara on her eyes, fucking game changer.
But if I don't, people think that I just walked out of a hospital.
You think she has
Also,
blonde
I
eyelashes?
have to wear makeup every single day because people will be like, oh, sweetie, are you okay? And I'm like, no, I just don't have mascara or like cover up and foundation and blush on. So I look dead.
No, it's just mascara. Honestly, I don't think it's even the blush.
It's all
like
of it.
she is like she sets a great example for me in terms of like when I went to the hairdresser and I had makeup on that day and he's like, dark circles, and he like motioned to my eyes. I thought of her immediately because I don't think I've ever seen her go out of the house for any reason without makeup on in some way, shape, or form, whether it be mascara or whatever. But the thing about it is that she doesn't look like she has any makeup on, like ever. I don't understand. Like right now, I'm like, okay,
Really?
you have lipstick on. No, like you look just naturally beautiful.
That's because I don't let people see me without it. So they think that
this is just how
like,
you
yeah,
look.
the thick layer is just my skin. Yeah.
I do remember going to your house once and I thought you were going through a hard time and you just didn't have mascara on. Everything was actually okay.
Yeah.
So a little bit of history about Lindsey and I. So we met, I started dating my husband in 2009. It's 2023, so 14 years ago. Mm-hmm. And at the time he was living with a roommate who her name still is Kim. She's still with us. She's lovely. I love her. She's actually family.
Okay.
She's like us. It doesn't matter. She was having a yard sale. Kim and Clark were roommates. And she was having a yard sale. And Lindsey walked up with her then boyfriend, Jason. And that's how I met them. And I remember meeting them and like, oh, this is so great. Like I'm meeting my boyfriend's friends, And shortly thereafter, we got an invitation to her wedding to Jason. And we were there. And it was great. And I had a really good time.
Yeah, you did.
I had too good of a time. I drank a little bit too much of the Indian
Of the
Pinot
tea.
Noir.
Yep.
And I actually was dancing to a song and I dropped my wine glass. Never told this story. I dropped my wine glass on the dance floor and I cut the foot of another person, but I didn't know. I spent the rest of the wedding in the bathroom with my husband holding back my hair, just vomiting pure. I thought it was blood. It was red wine. And the guest whose foot I cut, unbeknownst to me at the time, went to the emergency room because her foot would not stop bleeding. Feet are veiny. Whatever. It doesn't matter. It's not feet are veiny. So F her.
Yeah, they are.
Doesn't
veiny.
matter. And when we left, everyone had gone to like a bar, to like go hang out. And
Not everyone. Most people could not make it to that after party.
Clark and I included. They were packing up the wedding and it was like over. And I was like, we should go home because I cannot hang. You know what I mean? And so we were fast friends, but not like super close at first. I wasn't in her wedding or anything. We had just met each other.
Yeah.
What year did you get married?
2011.
2011. So I got married 2 years later in 2013. She was a bridesmaid in my wedding.
Yeah, and we became like very fast friends. Like
very fast.
It was like immediately like, ooh, like you're hilarious, East Coaster, love.
So there's kind of a running joke. So Lindsey and Clark are very much alike. They're pretty much the male and female version of each other. With that said, so are myself and her husband,
and
Jason,
my first husband.
which is why the four of us get along so well because I'll be like, can you imagine Lindsey, blah, blah, blah. And Clark's like, yeah, that's exactly what I would do. I'm like, okay, you're not my terminal for this at all. Like, this is bullshit. And then I call Jason and Jason's like, fuck her, right? And I'm like, yeah, totally, And then he like complains to Clark and Clark's like, no, what? And I'm like, Jason's right about this. Let me tell you why. Like Jason and I are the same person.
Yeah.
Lindsay and Clark are the same person. So I think that's why we mesh so well because we're like, we're each other's persons, you know? Yeah. So, you know, and if Jason's being an asshole, I can read through that and go like, he might be right.
Yeah, I can call and she can be like, well, it's probably because he's feeling like this because she's like, that's
I'm feeling that also.
How I'm feeling. Yeah.
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 So it's been a very good relationship. We've been friends since then, pretty thick as thieves. And we've been through quite a bit.
Yeah.
Highs and lows. Very, very, very high. Very, very, very low. I think we've both seen each other at our best.
Yeah.
And we have both seen each other at our worst. In fact, I know that for a fact. Definitely, I can speak to like the highest levels of friendship that you could possibly have. And like in terms of sharing like the biggest moment of your life together, we have literally gone through that together. We have literally gone through the shittiest of shitty times together. Mm-hmm. And I think I wanted to dedicate this episode to talking about like, how do you do that? Like, how do you have someone that you really can go through thick and thin with no matter what?
Yeah. How do you have that? How do you find that good friend too? Cause like I feel so lucky to have that where I'm like we talk like 100 times a day about everything. And it's almost like you know more than Jason knows, you know? And I think like that's not everybody has that. No. And it's so nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that like part of that is knowing that you have someone that knows their role in the moment. Meaning like, do you need someone, like there's times where she'll call me or she'll text me and I'm like, okay, are you venting or do you want my advice? Like, do you just need me to hear you or do you want me to have any input? Because sometimes, you know, you want to call someone, you want to bitch and you want to moan. You don't want their input. You just literally want to be heard. You know what I mean?
But I feel like we're pretty good at knowing when that is. There's times where like, I feel like I don't even say that and when I'm just like blah and you're like, oh, okay. Like you might start to give advice and I'm like, no, because fuck it. And you're like, oh.
Like I can easily see she doesn't want a solution.
Yeah, you're like, no, never mind. Like you immediately I'm like, fuck all solutions. And you're just like, great. Oh my goodness. Wow. And you're just reacting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you want someone to be part of that like moment for you. You want someone to share in the like, holy shit, this is a fucking awful situation. You don't want to necessarily hear what would get you out of it. You just need to just talk and literally be heard. And that's it.
Yeah.
You know, I've run through this. I feel like with my sister a lot, like too, like she'll call me with something, she'll tell me something and I give her, you know, the solution to the problem or whatever. And then she goes off into like why that's wrong. And I'm like, okay, well then I feel like I'm giving solutions and it's like, no matter what I say, I can't help. And it's like, when you have a best friend, like a real true friend, it's not about like how well you can be of service to that person. It's about like, sometimes they just need a sounding board. You know what I mean? Like just someone to go like.
But it's finding somebody that because I wouldn't say it's like without judgment. Like we judge each other, but I like your judgment. I need it. And it's like, and it's the right way. Whether it's like, okay, you know, like you might feel a certain way, but I never feel like bad or embarrassed.
Right. Like you don't want the person to be like, this is why you're wrong, or this is why, like, you're like,
or like,
no.
What did you do? Like, I feel like I could tell you the most insane thing. And no matter what, we're going to be laughing about it. We're going to be like, whoa, you know, like there's been some gnarly things that I'm like, I wouldn't even tell Jason how gnarly that is. And I'm like, I'm so glad I don't know. There's just something so funny that we have that. Like I wouldn't, and my sister and I are very close as well, but I wouldn't tell her certain things because it would still be like. It's
not the same dynamic at all.
Yeah, because there's a little bit of like, we both have younger sisters too, of them just being like, what the hell? Like, what are you doing? Whereas you'll be like, wait, what? This is incredible. Yeah.
Like, run through it again. Like, I don't
like, wait, I need the details. How did that happen? And I'm like, listen.
I think that, and Lindsay, I think will back me on this. So I've personally come a long way. When we first met and the first few years of our friendship, I had a totally different person that was my best friend. And, for whatever reason, we had a falling out, and
not a bad person. Like, it wasn't like
wonderful person.
Like, but like, she had to go. I had to remove her from the scene. No, I didn't have it at all.
And you know, rest in peace. No, I'm kidding. So So we had a falling out, and when we had a falling out, she kind of came back and explained to me like all the things I had done wrong throughout our friendship. And the whole time she was telling me, Lindsay's come to peace with this, as you can see, she's doing wonderfully.
Oh my God. Why I can't.
And so the day she told me, I'll tell you guys something interesting. The day she told me I was actually going to meet Jason and Lindsay for dinner with Clark to celebrate something really awesome that had happened with me. And I was like, let me just go take care of this. Have a quick like coffee meeting with this person. And they knew it was important to me because, you know, she was a big part of my life for a long time. And for me, it's always been very difficult.
You've been wanting closure on this too. Like, and it went, so I was like, good.
Yeah. Like everyone was very supportive. Like, go, like, it's fine. If you're late to dinner, don't worry.
Hopefully this person, this is going to be nice.
Yeah. And so something to know about me is that as a kid, I moved every 2 years. I don't think I've ever mentioned this. And so I'm not the person that can go like, oh, she's been my best friend since kindergarten and I've always wanted that, but I've never had it. So I've lived in California now for I think like 17 years and I don't have anyone that I can go, I've been friends with since I was a kid, right? Yes, there's people who you're friends with still on Facebook and I love seeing like how they're doing because I'm like, oh my God, I've known that person since high school, you know, because I've never had that. Like my cousin, Vanessa, has lived in the same town all of her 40 years and she has friends she's been with like her whole life and I envy that so much. And so I had this friend who was my friend for the longest, which at that time, I think it was like, I don't know, 7 or 8 years. And that was the longest friend I had, to be honest, because when you move across the country, which I did, it's very difficult to maintain friendships. So it was very important to me that I made this right. Mm-hmm. So she met me and what she told me was kind of like all the things I had done wrong in the last 6 or 7 years of friendship. And it put me in a difficult position. And the reason why was because it put me in a position where I couldn't do anything to fix it, right? Like in the moment, if you're friends with someone and they go like, hey, dude, you did this thing the other day. It really annoyed me. And you're like, oh my God, I'm so like, because you're not doing something to intentionally piss off your best friend, right? Like if you do that, you want to know in real time so you can fix it. If you're not aware of the fact that that bothers them, you're going to continue to do it because you don't know that that's a problem. So that's kind of like what had happened. And it put me in a situation where I felt awful. I went to dinner and I walked into dinner and I remember we went to this, one of my favorite sushi spots and it was Lindsay, her husband, Jason, who begrudgingly went because he fucking hates sushi, but he was there for me anyway, which I love him for that. And he ordered his fucking bento box or whatever it was. Yeah. And Clark was there and Lindsay was there and I walked in and Lindsay was like, so don't like, are you guys like best friends again or what? You know? And I'll tell you, like at my wedding, this person was my maid of honor. Lindsay was a bridesmaid. And we've both talked about it, like how if we could redo our weddings, like first of all, I wasn't even in her wedding, so we didn't know each other well enough. Like,
I'm like, wait, you were
yeah, but we didn't know each other well enough.
No, we wouldn't have. But it's just so weird how we are now.
You're like, oh, I wish, like, you know what I mean? Like, so anyway, whatever. It is what it is. But there was even things about my wedding day that this girl had commented on, and I was like, shit, like I didn't even think about that, creating a bad situation for you. Like I wasn't even thinking about that, and you don't think about stuff like that on big life events, like you getting married or whatever. It's
not about her. It is about you.
Right. So also like I'm like Lindsay's a little less.
You were having your wedding. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You should have been thinking about her feelings, your maid of honor's feelings.
Yeah. I should.
Being a bridesmaid means you're a maid. You are a maid. You are a lady in wait. You are nothing.
Yeah. You're right. So this is what balances us out, by the way.
It is insane that somebody would come and like point out things that you didn't do right. And also not like, look, listen, this is what was happening. And I was mad about this, mad about that, but it doesn't matter. It was, you did these things and those happened. So that's how it's going to be for the rest of our lives. And you're just like, what the living fuck?
And it was kind of like that. Like you can't go back and change any of that. You can't move forward and make that right. So what do you do?
She wasn't making less of it or going, but it's okay. Cause I can understand two sides of it. It was just kind of like, yeah, no, you didn't, you weren't nice to me. I didn't feel important. And it was like things she was feeling or what.
Like I'll give you guys an actual example just to be clear. So my sister, Tanya, who you guys have all unfortunately met.
She's great. She's great. So funny.
She's really funny. So Tanya moved here pretty soon before my wedding. Right. And so she's my sister. Okay. And we're 8.5 years apart, which is a massive gap, 2 totally different generations. But when it came to my wedding, I was like, okay, I had 2 maids of honor. I had a matron of honor, which was this girl who's married. So married matron of honor because I have any young audience.
Awful though. Being a matron of honor is so horrid, but it doesn't matter. It's not your fault. Although, according to her, it probably is.
It was that I didn't get married sooner. So, no, I'm joking. It wasn't. So, and then Tanya, who was my maid of honor, right? Because she's not married, so she's maid of honor. And so in the wedding rehearsal, I decided, I said, it would be nice, like Tanya should come out first, meaning like in the row of what is it, like bridesmaids and maid of honors, yeah, that are after me. Tanya should be right next to me, then the girl, the matron of honor, then the remaining bridesmaids, right? And I honestly did it because I was like, Tanya's my sister, so she should be next to me, right? Like just in terms of
You don't
like,
have to explain yourself. That absolutely makes sense.
normal.
Everybody on planet Earth is like, absolutely. Your blood sister should be,
yeah. So one of the things
No
that she
issue.
brought up at the dinner was that like she was upset by the fact that, Tanya, at the last minute, Tanya was asked to be the person sitting next to me. Now, full stop. In her defense, because this conversation happened.
That's gracious. Go ahead.
This conversation happened 9 years ago. Yeah. About 10 years ago. 2014. So it's been 9 years. I have mulled this over, right? Multiple times, as anyone would do in a conversation that you have that leaves you feeling like something is not resolved and something is not right here, right? It's normal to go, what the fuck? And play this over in your head, right?
Yeah.
I've spent many a nights thinking this through, and I thought, okay, I always try to assume like the other person's whatever, they're what's real to her, what's like her universe of her
Their
thinking.
experience.
Yeah, her experience of like, what the fuck is going on? So like, okay, let me abandon everything I know and believe in and imagine I'm her. How do I feel? Okay, in her defense, I will say this. Her parents, her father was actually an ordained minister and married my husband and I. Her mom put a lot of work and effort and like, help into us
That no one asked her to do, as nice as it is.
on her own that she did, right?
Because you have a mother.
Right, I do. And as you guys know, which you're all waiting for her to show up with her fucking sunglasses and the ring light reflection in them. She had moved here recently, my mom, because she knew we were going to get married and she wanted to be close to her daughters. Fine. So I was just going to sip of tea. Hang on.
But the thing is that you can't do something nice to be nice.
Yeah.
If you're expecting something and then you're like weird and it's like a wedding is
No.
such a high emotion, high intensity, expensive, insane. Like you can't be like that.
No, and I've talked about this on this podcast. Like I've talked about help because you want to help, not because you have some hidden agenda or some other ulterior motive.
And don't get mad about somebody
No.
not experienced, because also sometimes when you're helping somebody, they're going through a moment of their life where they may not be aware of even how much they needed you.
Yeah.
So be there for them.
Yeah.
And hope that they appreciate it.
And
but like,
guys, at the end of the day, like, so Clark and I are going to celebrate 10 years married this July. And the fact that every fucking year of our anniversary, I think about that day, and it was the best
because you
day
have to
ever.
have their fucking.
But I
they're on your
have
damn
that
photo.
fucking thing.
Thank God
sitting
she
there.
wasn't right next to you. At least you can crop her out.
So-
Like,
But no, honestly, like I have that thing sitting there, right? Of like, God damn it.
yeah,
Like
tainting it.
every year, every July 28th, I go, what a beautiful day. But fuck, I didn't know that I was doing X, Y, and Z. So
And these aren't even like none of these people are bad people.
no,
It's
they're
just,
not.
like,
They're but
they
it's
just
like,
can't like let things go, or they
no.
can't like.
And it's people that hang on to stuff.
for you
and
being
fine.
like, I can see what you were experiencing. She does not see what you're experiencing.
No.
She just is like, the experience is whatever I experienced, and everyone's in my world.
Right.
And
And so
you're like-
that's the other thing. Like, so I can go like, all right, let me see it from your view. Right. But if I'm talking to somebody that can't see it from mine, it becomes a problem, because then it seems like that's where you enter in patheticism, like being pathetic, like where I go like, I don't know, I just made that up. Is that a word? Patheticism.
No, it's not a word at all, but I love it.
It's a new thing. So it's a syndrome. Like, so like where I go like, I'm going above and beyond, bending over backwards to be like, I'm so, blah, blah. And at some point, and I'll tell you something, I'm not lying, for 10 months, and Lindsay can attest to this because she's the only person in my life that knows it, I tried to go above and beyond to make this right. And she was like, Janine, please stop. Like,
No,
this
at a
is
certain point, you're
so-
like, it's not okay.
yeah.
You're You got to
Like,
move
it's
on.
pathetic. Like you've apologized. You've done like knock it off, right?
You've done whatever the crime was, you've made up for something 10 times worse.
Yeah.
Like it's as if like you fucked her husband on your wedding night. Like it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
The amount. Like nothing happened to this person. It's all invented and made up and blown out of proportion.
Yeah.
And in her own head making it like this and this and this, when really it's whatever. And it's from a lack of being able to see other people, which I think comes from, you know, like she was an only child, which can be a beautiful thing to be an only child, but that does lead to you don't have the experience of having to compromise and have to like.
And I can speak
do what somebody else wants to
personally.
do.
Like my daughter, my sister was not born until I was 8.5 years old, and it was fucking rough. And it was one of the reasons why I had my son. I was like, I don't want to go past like my daughter being like 5 or 6 years old, because I was 8.5 when my sister showed up, and I swear to God, I was like, fuck this bitch. Like, what the fuck? And also there was the added thing of like different dads and whatever that brought with it. But like, I was like, this is not what I don't want this. You know what I mean? And so like when you're an only child, there is like a thing of like when another kid comes into play, you feel like you're not special anymore. You don't matter. And I remember that. And
it's character building as much as it is rough. And like I have 2 kids that are 3 years apart. So I see them argue a lot, and I see a lot of that. But I'm like, with my sister too, like as annoying as she was, I learned to like, I was forced to just like deal with this other person.
And
so
how much younger is she from you?
Like 2.5 years.
Okay, that's not too much. So
we're
similar
pretty
to your
close.
kids.
Yeah, similar. And it's tough. Like your kids even being like, there's like 5 years apart.
It's a month short of 6 years. And today I even posted something on Instagram. With those of you who follow me on Instagram, like I posted on both my personal page and my comedy page of like,
cute.
I acknowledged my daughter, because I'm like, I was looking through my feed and I'm like, my God, I'm just posting everything about my son, you know? And he just turned a year old last weekend. And I was like, you know, as much as you go, like, I love both my kids to my dying day. Like, it's not even, there's no question. I love them both the same. I would never choose my favorite. It's nothing like that.
But if you had to.
But if I had to, it would be my son. I'm going to go, okay. No, it's awful. No, I wouldn't. But my point is that like, he's a baby, right? He's so helpless. Like, and I've explained this to my daughter. Like, I'm like, you have to understand, like, there's things we have to do for him you can do for yourself, because there's an age gap, right? She's been so fucking awesome, this kid. Like, she helps out so much. And today I was just watching them, and I was like,
proud. It's so cute.
Snapped a fucking picture, and I was like, fuck this dude. Like, and she goes, what are you doing on your phone? And I was like, I'm actually posting about you and how fucking awesome of a big sister you are. And I literally said that word for word. I don't give a shit. Like, I was like, you are a fucking awesome big sister, because she loves him so much. She's like, can I hold him? Can I do that? Like, and I just feel like shit. I've been over and above with him on social media, and I haven't really said much about her. And I don't want to do that, because I know what that feels like, you know, like pre-Instagram, obviously. Like, I know what that feels like to be like set aside because there's a baby, you know, and it's awful. Like, and so anyway, yeah. So my point is that on the whole best friend front, what ended up happening was, I realized in that moment, and I had accomplished like something really. So the little bit of tidbit is that when this girl met with me, she had met with me because we were going out for a celebratory dinner on something like really cool that I had accomplished that these guys were super proud of me for, and we're all going to go out and celebrate this. And I met with her prior, and it was kind of like a Debbie Downer. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, oof, like, okay. All these things I'd done wrong that I can't fix. I'm going to give you guys a little fucking shortcut to life. If someone gives you something that you can't do anything about, please just keep that person to like, you know, just social, like, hi, bye, like whatever. Because if you get put in a situation where you can't do anything about something, it's fucking awful. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can't fix it. You're like, okay, thank you. Like, I'm an asshole. Yeah. And it's awful for you, right? It's awful for you on a mental health level. It's awful for you on an emotional level, a spiritual, whatever. Like, it's just not good. So
no, it's like, fuck toxic people. Like, you really have to be.
It is a toxic relationship that goes like, hi, I'm here.
Even if it was good, like, this isn't a bad person even. This is somebody who's good, but like whatever, if something gets to a toxic point, you do have to just be like.
You got to kind of separate yourself from that a bit, right? In order to do well and be in a position where you're like, you want to put yourself in a position where you can like do shit about stuff. Like you can like, you're like causatively like doing great things for your life. You don't want people to come in and go like, oh, you did this. By the way, you can't fix it. Thanks. And you're like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like, so that's kind of what happened. I went to the dinner and I remember the fucking dinner at that sushi place like it was yesterday. I remember the chicken teriyaki that Jason ordered because he hates sushi. And I remember sitting there coming off of that going, I'm supposed to be celebrating this really amazing moment for myself. And I'm sitting here.
And just like your wedding day, it's all about this other person.
Yeah. And I remember making the decision right there. Like, this is my fucking person, Lindsay. Because, and I'm going to tell you something, since then, that was 9 years ago. And we have been through, when I tell you, like, we've been through friendship stuff, we've been through personal things, we've been through relationship things, like in our own marriages and our own households, very personal things that we wouldn't discuss with anyone. We've been through business stuff. We're in business together to some degree. She works with my husband and her husband in the production company that Clark works for that I've talked about.
Yep.
We have been through the gamut of just various things that like most friendships don't even go through, right? Like, and we've come through it every fucking time because at the end of the day, even if we don't see eye to eye on something, we value us being there for each other more than us agreeing with each other, I think.
Absolutely. And we see where each other is. And I think that's what's interesting is like, no matter what is going on, even if I'm like, you put yourself in that situation, I'm still like, it doesn't matter. It wasn't like you did it on purpose. Like, I know what that's like. We both have done that where you're like, my whole life led to this shitty moment. Instead of being like, well, you put yourself there. It's like, no, this sucks. And now let's get out of it and go back to the freaking good times.
I think we're like each other's best therapist. Do you know what I mean? Like not the person that like goes like, you're wrong. And what happened with your dad? And why did you make that decision?
Like my personal comedian. Like I feel like more than a therapist, like which would be lovely. It's like, I would love somebody that has a sense of humor about it. And that's what's great is that both like we make each other laugh while we're going through these things.
You have to take responsibility for that and take some actually not responsibility, but credit, because when she's upset about something, you have never heard the funniest shit. And first of all, let me just,
it's because my humor's dark. Darkness makes me
let's go back. Lindsay's actually, can I say that what you do for a living?
Yeah, you can say whatever you want.
So Livia is asleep. This Pinot Noir tea is some good tea.
Hard.
No, I also attended a birthday party prior to doing this podcast.
Wait, did you have some tea there too?
I had some rosé tea there, okay. And it was a 45th-year-old birthday, so it was at a nursing home. It's fine. I'm joking. It wasn't a nursing home. Okay. What was I saying? Oh, so Lindsay is a writer for Disney. As in like Disney, as in Walt Disney. Okay. As in fucking Moana. I don't know, whatever, like, let it go.
Moana is the lead voice on my show.
So yeah.
That's perfect.
Is it?
Yeah, she is.
Oh my God.
The show Haley's on it. It airs June 9th.
What is the name of it?
Haley's on it.
Haley's on it. June 9th. It airs on the Disney Channel.
Disney Channel and then Disney Plus.
And you're the writer of the lines that the characters are giving.
Yes.
Very big deal. So very, very talented. I love her so much. And any of you handful of people I love you guys so much that have followed me through my journey. We did a thing on her channel, on her YouTube channel that is way bigger than my YouTube channel. But we played like horror video games together.
God. Some of the funnest moments of my life.
Funnest moments. So like, I love horror movies.
We have to like link it in.
I wish we can. I don't understand any of that. Clark can figure it out. She probably knows actually. But like we played video games where like I understand. I don't know how the fuck to work the remote.
Basically, like I play a ton of video games.
She's a huge gamer.
And so I was like, and she loves horror. And I was like, if you love horror, you got to play these horror games. So we played, if you know games, we played Outlast. And we played, what was the other one we played?
We played the second game of this the new movie, the show on HBO.
Last of Us.
Last of Us 2.
That's right.
So I just watched the whole show of Last of Us, and I was like, oh, this is what happened in the first season, because I played with her the second game. So I only knew what had happened.
Yeah.
And I watched the whole video game version of The Walking Dead, basically, right? And I was like, what the fuck? Like, I didn't have any of this, and I had no emotional connection to it. So when you start the second game, the second video game of the part 2 of The Last of Us, video game style, they give you a little snippet of what just occurred. I had zero emotional connection to it. I was like, great, cool, okay, whatever, let's play the game. And I watched the show. I watched the HBO show with my husband, and we just finished it, and I was like, oh my God. Like, we only played like 2 games, meant so much more to me than what I had experienced when I played with her, because I had no emotional connection to any of the characters, right? So now I'm like, oh my God, I want to play that again, right? But anyway, we also played, what was the first game we played?
It was Outlast.
Guys.
It's horrifying. And also, so not only is it so scary, but she doesn't know how to play the game. And
I don't know the controller.
And so
she's screaming at me.
I'm like trying to teach her to play
She's
games.
like, I'm going to teach you. JD, what are you doing?
And
Go.
I scream at her and we lose our fucking minds. It is, oh my God, I've never laughed so hard.
I can put a link to those. Yeah.
Yes,
Are they still
in the description?
out?
We'll figure it out.
They're still out.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I gotta,
on YouTube.
guys, it's fucking hilarious.
Such a great watch.
Some of you guys actually came from that. I know who the fuck you are. So for you 3, I'll post it in the whatever the fuck that is. But it's so fun. So like, I love horror movies. Yeah. She knows that about me. She's like, come do this thing. She is the creator, owner, bloody boo boo bop bops, or whatever the fuck it's called, of the channel, which is Reckless Tortuga, was their YouTube channel. Yeah.
It's Reckless Comedy now.
Reckless Comedy. And fantastic. So she's a genius, because she literally just on her own, like, fucking wrote all these like online comedy skits for all these various different shows on this channel, and she's so fucking talented. So the fact that she was even, I was like, hey, like, I don't know if you want to come on my podcast, and she was like, yeah, no, I would love to. And I was like, really great, thanks. Like, I was so happy, because this is true friendship, like that you would go on my little well, it's not nugget that podcast. Little,
and it's also like, this is great.
It's so great.
It's an excuse to like go do something fun
and just chat about us.
Out. Yeah,
this is us,
and talk about it, because we would never sit down also and talk about ourselves. It'd be weird if we're like, let's talk about our friendship.
Let's talk about how awesome we are.
Let's break down our friendship right now.
I know, and this is good, and I feel like it makes us appreciate each other more.
And I like talking about that girl for a little bit too. That was good.
I feel so much better.
I do
Fuck
too.
her.
Man,
no, I'm just kidding.
It's nice to hear.
My point about bringing that up was that people used to joke, before I was married, people used to be like, here's my picture of like my wedding party. Mm-hmm. I've literally seen this. And like, you know, on MySpace, for those of you who know what that is.
Whoa.
And like, it's funny how like we don't even talk anymore or whatever. And I'd be like, that's so terrible, you know? And I look at my wedding picture and the people who were in my wedding party, and I'm like, fuck, I get that. Like that's true. Like there's people who were there that you don't even really talk to anymore.
But it's an interesting thing of how much growth happens in your like late 20s into your 30s, because it is that like that's kind of like a marriage time for a lot of people. And then like where you end up by your 40s is so different.
So different.
Because once you have kids too, it's like you really get judgmental on like and careful about who's in your life. Yeah. Because suddenly you're protecting your family.
Because you want to like set a good example for your kids and like who's around my kids. And
in early 20s, you're hustling still. You're like, I got to know everybody and everybody's okay. And then you start to be like, some people are holding me back actually.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think like as you get older, and you can agree or disagree, but like I feel like you get into a point, and I know I have like, some of you guys are like younger, or you're in your early 30s. Like you guys know I'm going to be 40 this August because it's a big deal and we're talking about it. You start to get to a point where like there is still this kind of like, I want to be liked. I want to be accepted. Like even after high school, after all that shit, you know the cliques of the people who are like cool, and you want to be part of that, right? Something switches at some point, and I think it does have a lot to do with becoming a parent, where you go, you know, actually like I'm starting to know who I am, and that's a little bit more important than you guys being fucking cool, because you're actually not. No. And that's when it comes down to like your own integrity, right? And you really know who you are. Yeah. And it's been very recent, like I would say in the last 2 years, honestly, 2 years, like 38 on, that I've gone, no, you know what? I know who I am. And I'm fucking proud of that. And I don't need like, accompanying people around me to feel like I know who I am. Like
to prove yourself.
Yeah.
Like you're fighting so hard in life, I feel like, to like get somewhere or whatever. If you're fighting for a relationship and having you're like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Like we should be like in this together.
Yeah.
Why am I spending time and effort on that? Forget
it. Totally. So one of the things I want to do is play a little game.
Wait, do we have more tea? Or did you dump the
The tea is right there.
There's still tea in there?
There's a tea kettle right there.
Okay, can I get up and get
absolutely.
it?
Go get it.
You describe
the
game.
Wait.
Okay. No,
so we're going to play a little game while Lindsay gets the tea kettle. She's going to bring the tea kettle right into full camera view.
I'm not.
You're not? You should.
No, I'm not.
Okay. Nope. You just do that, and then I'm going to...
Do you need more?
Please. And they'll see the tea kettle.
No, they can't.
Oh, you're going to grab it? Oh, okay.
That's fine. We'll do it. We'll do it live. Go ahead.
We're going to do it live. We don't do anything in post. We don't cut things out, as you guys know, because we do know how to do that. But Clark's lazy and tired at the end of this, to be honest. She's just going to... Yep, there you go. There it is. So I wanted to play a little game of like, how well do we know each other? Now, I want to preface this with something.
This will be interesting.
Actually, I don't want to preface it with something because the thing I want to preface it with, I'm going to ask as a question as part of the how well do we know each other. We're going to do, I think, 3 questions. I haven't even thought of them yet. So I only know maybe one of them.
You have to start it because I don't totally understand what we're doing. And so I'll get it if you do one.
I don't either. So
I got my paper and I got a pen.
think the first, so we're going to ask a question, a general question. We both have to write down the answer. We're not going to see what we're writing down. And then I think we should probably ask each other, right? Like,
so like we're going to do the same question.
Yeah. Like, whatever. What's your favorite color? Which is not one of them. We write it down and then you go like your favorite color is whatever. And I flip it to see if you're right. And vice versa, yeah? To see like how well do we know each other. What do you think?
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah? Okay. So first question, we have 3 pieces of paper. We each have a Sharpie.
Okay.
First question is going to be, what do you think?
Okay.
And then we're going to discuss each thing a little bit, okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So what do you think makes our friendship better than any other friendship you have? You might have better friendships. It doesn't matter. It's fine. We still love those people. But
okay, wait, hold on. What makes this
like?
Is
what do
so
you think?
Deep.
No.
How many words do we have to make it?
Just a little bit. But like, what do you think? Like, why do you think our friendship is as strong as it is? Like, what is a thing that we do that you don't do with any other friendship that goes like, that's a strong friendship right there? You know what I'm saying? Like, what makes us different from other friendships?
Okay.
What is something that you and I do that you don't do with any other friendship that you feel goes like, you know what, that actually makes us stronger every fucking time? Some shit like that.
Okay,
it is
I
deep.
think I get it. I mean, I think I have an answer. We'll see if I'm
all right,
it right.
We're going to write it down.
Okay, wait, what's the exact question? Not the long question.
I don't know.
Short question. You were like 45 parts. I was like, I have an answer.
Indian Pinot Noir tea is real
this.
fucking hard.
Wait, it's just what makes our friendship work.
Yeah, but I don't think this is something, because I know my answer. I'm thinking of an answer in my head, obviously. I don't think that we have this with any other friendship that you and I have. I don't think that we're doing this in any other friendship. I'm not trying to guide you to an answer. I'm just saying, like, what makes us different from other friendships? Because we both also have friends that are very close to us. Okay. She has other friends that she calls best friends. But there's something about our friendship that's different. What is that?
Yeah. Okay, I have an answer.
I have mine done.
Well, I do like capitals, which confuse me. Also, it's hard to write when you've had a lot of tea. Okay.
Yeah, it's hard to write when you have a lot of tea. I couldn't even phrase a question from all the tea. Okay, so what did you say?
I said the dark comedy and delightful sense of humor.
I love that.
But it's true. Like, we will laugh. We'll say some things that are so fucked up that
awful.
We could never repeat. We'd be canceled.
We can't even actually tell you about it.
But it's like, it's only meant for us, and it's we can bring lightness to things, because we both live pretty hard and fast, I feel like. So without that, both of us would go insane and also feel so crazy, but like it's able to lighten these things and we can get through it faster.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. Did you say the same thing?
No.
Okay.
I said, knockdown, drag out fights at least once a year.
That's so true.
Let me elaborate.
I don't fight with anyone else except for my husband like this.
Truly?
No way. I don't fight with anybody else.
Okay, so
it is kind of weird.
It is. So Lindsey and I have, and this is always via text. It's never an actual conversation on the phone or in person.
It honestly is because of text, I feel like.
Yes. It usually starts with a misinterpretation because, it's very hard. Like you get a text from someone to like read where they're really at. You always assume whatever you're reading it. I actually did a TikTok on this on Jason's 40th birthday. I did this TikTok of a Kenan and Peele skit of like, people reading text like incorrectly. Right.
Right.
This is kind of how this starts. But sometimes, honestly, I feel like neither one of us are in the fucking mood for each other's bullshit, to be honest.
Yeah.
And so,
right. It's just, like, we're just not.
We're at capacity. We're fucking kids and the job and blah, blah, blah.
Somebody's having a meltdown in a moment.
In their own world. And then this fucking asshole comes in and they're like, I have da da da. And fuck you for not answering her. It's not like that. But it's like something like that. And you're like, so I'm going to tell you, this started, I want to say 3 years ago. Yeah?
Yeah.
3 years ago. Where it was truly, by definition, a knockdown, drag out via text. And by knockdown, drag out,
fought, but
but verbally, where we text each other, like, go fuck yourself. You know what? This is, when I know Lindsey's at her, let me tell you, maybe I should say this for the next question. I'll say this for the next question. Okay, because it's a good one.
No, just do it.
No, I like it. It's a good, it's like a nice question.
Whatever.
But again, this is always via text because that's how people communicate. And calling someone without texting them, can you talk, is like dropping by unannounced. So we don't do that. But like via text, just recently, and it's always, thank God, it's always in the beginning of the year, like January, February, because then we know we're good for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
And it's proven to be true for the last 3 times.
I feel like one year we got into like 3 big fights, and the next year was like 2, and now like it was the first time it was like 24 hours. Like we were like we like silent treatment for a minute.
Yeah.
Which we're like,
and by the way, when you talk to someone 100 times a day, like she said earlier, you fucking feel that 24 hours of like not talking to each other. We definitely created a shitty effect on each other. Like feeling that like for the day where we were like,
no, you can make it. We can make
your household is disrupted because you're not talking to your best
and even
friend.
like Jason's like, what's happening? And I'm like, what Janine say? I'm like, don't know, don't care.
Yeah.
Like
she's dead to me. Like I don't know. I don't even know why we're friends with them. I'm sure these are the conversations that happen. I don't know. So the other thing to know is that Lindsey and Jason are way more like, they talk more than Clark and I do. Like Lindsey will sometimes tell me stuff about Clark at work that I'm like, oh, I had no idea. Like Clark doesn't talk to me about any of that stuff. But Lindsey and Jason chat because they work together. Clark and I really don't. Like I do some stuff for their business, but nothing where I would need to talk to Clark. So like Clark and I don't talk as much as Lindsey and Jason do. And they do because they've done it for years, even for their YouTube channel prior to what they do now. And so we don't have that dynamic, Clark and I. So a lot of whatever is going on with Lindsey and I will internalize it. I'll almost do it on purpose because Clark and Lindsey have a really wonderful working relationship from what I understand. And, right?
From the nothing you know. Yeah,
right.
It's great.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So, and I don't ever want to like, I'm big on like, I don't want to ever put anything on him that he would feel makes it weird. So I just kind of internalize it. And I'm just like, oof. And he's like, oh, like Lindsey. I'm like, oh, cool. Yeah. I love her. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, so I don't say anything, but, and Lindsey knows, like, I'm very much like, I don't hold back. Like if I have a fucking problem, I'll fucking tell you, you know what I mean? And I do. And like, there was I think this January or February, we even had a thing where like we were going back and forth and I was like, just fuck off. Like I couldn't take it. And then like, but it's funny, like in the last 3 years, it started, I think about 3 or 4 years ago. Yeah. Where the text fighting.
Yeah.
Like this whole thing.
I can't remember the first one, but I
can't remember the first one either.
I remember the first one just going on for a minute.
But we've now learned it so well that we get through it very fast.
We had to call each other on the phone to handle
we did.
Like the first couple.
We had to have a phone call.
Because it was getting really insane. Because like back and forth of like, that's
and
not
the
what you
text
said.
Is awful. Like, yeah.
And it was like, and we're both
and you guys know, you read like the tone and the vibe of the text is very different than like what the person meant versus what you're reading, right? If you're pissed off at them already, you're reading it from a shitty fucking like vibe. And they could just be like, no, I don't really want to hang out. And you're like, no, I don't really want to hang out. What the fuck? Like, you're like, you know
that's
what I mean?
we did is we like reread our text in the tone. And it was like, oh, see, I read it like blah, blah, blah. And I read it like, and we were like,
okay. So actually, the first time actually there was no real like disagreement. We were fine.
I don't even know that any time we've really been like, even this latest one was like, okay, like I said something to you and you said something back and I was like, I actually don't need that bullshit from you right now.
Yeah.
And you were like, I was saying it like this and I'm like, I don't actually care. It's whatever. Luckily, I think it only lasted like 30, 40
No, but this
minutes,
time actually I remember it was like, it's kind of one of those things where it's like, I think, so when somebody comes to me and they're upset about something, I'm like, I have to solve it, you know, and that's how I am. And sometimes if anyone comes to me, they just might want to be like heard, like what we were talking about earlier. And this was one of those situations. And I was kind of like, let me solve this. And she didn't want a solution. She just wanted to be heard. And it was that was actually, I feel like the basis of
honestly was
what recently happened where I was like, oh, okay, wait, hang on. I just missed my, like, let me know my role. Like I need to just be like sounding board, got it. Like not trying to be like solving this for you.
But it also opened, like we're both very funny and quick and like have great comebacks. So the thing that sucks is when we piss each other off, we go off.
We do.
In ways that
and it's
we
just
don't.
Comedy lost,
And
really. Because I'm going to tell you something right now. And it's unfortunate. She needs to be a writer for like HBO. Because when she's upset about something, you have never heard the funniest fucking inappropriate material of your life. I wish I would have saved some of the things for tonight to just explain to you. When she's upset with her husband, the things that she says, and she's genuinely mad, and I'm like, LOL, like, because it's so fucking funny that I can't. And I've literally written her at one point because I'm like, she's gonna think I'm an asshole. Like I'm not appropriately like responding to this. That I go like, it's unfortunate that you're so funny when you're so upset because I'm literally laughing out loud. And I know you're seething. You're like ready to get a divorce. And I'm just like, LOL. Like because she says this craziest shit. And you're like, what the fuck? It's so funny. So she's really at her prime when her life's falling apart. I'm kidding.
I can just really break things down in a way that.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of
It's rough for Clark sometimes because when it is like Jason and I and then Clark's in the room and like Jason and I will get into like a little bit of an argument.
Like in a meeting, you guys.
Clark can't laugh because I'm not also trying to be funny.
She's not trying to be funny, but she's so funny.
I'm just going like, okay, dude, this and this and this. And also, the thing that's so rough is my husband takes himself so seriously, but he does.
As do I, because we're the same person.
But like, does so many things that you're like, but you have a great sense of humor. So what's nice is that you might do something and we can laugh about it. You can't laugh about things with my husband. And
no,
it's
with
so
her husband, I'm going to tell you what happens.
You are such a fucking, like, you're so stereotypical. There's so many
Let
things.
me explain to you. It's me at 29. His face gets very red and he goes like this. Clenches his jaw and then he just paces. And I know this because me 10 years ago did the same exact thing. So there's hope for him. He will also be funny about it, but we're just waiting. No, I'm just kidding. We're not waiting.
All these little things where you're like, let's laugh about it.
Yeah.
Or he'll
no.
be saying something in the
it's too
argument,
personal to him in the moment. You know, it's too fresh. Honestly.
I'm just dropping truth. And
I know you are.
That's all it is.
And you're not wrong. But like.
No, I'm never wrong.
Never.
Ever.
Which is part of the problem because it's hard. There's like rare people that come around that are never wrong.
And nail it every time. Yeah.
Ever. So.
That's right.
And it's hard because people like Jason, you know, AKA people like me, are also never wrong. So it's a funny place to be in. But I think that there's hope because here's the thing. Here's what I do know. If Lindsey and I have stuck through it this fucking long and been this close of friends this long, she has her soulmate in Jason because he's basically just me. A little angrier, maybe not so funny, with a penis.
Yeah.
So fine. So next question.
Okay.
Hope we covered that fully for you guys. I didn't think of it yet.
So what was it? You were like, I'm saving something for a thing.
Oh yeah. Shit. What was it? What was I talking about? I was talking about
I don't know. You didn't say it.
Our friendship and the text messaging.
It was like something about being funny when arguing, but we just did that.
No, it was a good one.
Have?
I don't remember because of the T. my next thought was like, what is the like one pet peeve we have about other people? Like other people, like inviting them.
Like, what's your
tours.
biggest pet peeve, just in general, not with me, but in general?
No, not with you, but just with other people.
Okay.
Okay, like a new person joining the group.
I can't. You get so specific.
I'm not gonna get specific.
I zone
Forget
in,
it.
and then
Forget
you're
what I
like
just
joining
said.
the group.
That was the Indian Pinot Noir talking. What is my biggest pet? Like, what is your biggest pet peeve with other people? No, this is not.
I'm
related
doing
to
what's
us.
yours.
Oh, you're doing what's.
I'm just gonna do what's your biggest.
Yeah. What's my biggest pet
or what's
peeve?
our biggest pet peeve? What are we doing?
No, what's my biggest pet peeve, and I'm gonna guess what your biggest pet peeve is.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know. I know what mine is.
I have so many. How do you pick one?
Should we just stick to mine?
Write down what you think I'm going to say. Yeah.
Well, okay. Well, so what my biggest pet peeve is
Yeah.
in someone else. This is one of those things where I think my handwriting looks beautiful, and I'm going to watch this tomorrow on YouTube and go, ooh.
Okay.
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 What'd you say?
People who don't take your perfect and amazing advice.
Oh my God, that's actually correct. What I wrote is not correct. So let's talk about that for a second. Ugh, she's so fucking right. I was trying to be cute and funny with my answer. I'll go over that in a minute. Tanya is the first person that comes to fucking mind. If you come to me with a problem and you're not coming to me like Lindsey, who just needs to be heard and acknowledged, right? Where I go like, oh God, that's awful, blah, 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 whatever. And you go like, I don't know, Jay, like, what should I do? And I'm like, I mean, whatever. I would do like A, B, and C. And you're like, oh God, you're so right. Okay. And then you don't fucking do any of it.
No, but you don't just go, I don't know. You go, okay, I actually know what to do.
Because
here's
I've been
this and this
it.
and this.
Oh my God.
And here's the thing. And I've been through this thing. And this is what will work.
I can't.
And I see the other side. Da, da, da. Here's everything.
Okay. Let me explain something to you guys. My fucking sister, Tanya, I hope you're listening to this. I'm going to fucking copy and paste this motherfucking link to you 3,000 times. Link down below. Like she said on the fucking stupid ass podcast. She kept going, link down below. There was no link down below. For whatever the fuck. She bullshitting us and telling us she didn't get lip filler and she got gloss and she orders it from Sephora and it's like $30 and Lincoln bought. And I'm like, we don't know how to do that. So stop saying that.
She never admitted to having, I didn't listen to hers yet.
Oh, you need to listen to hers. It's great.
She never admits to having filler.
I think hers is the highest viewed podcast.
But she never had filler?
No, she gets this Sephora $40 and she has it on like auto refill.
I have thin lips. I'll use her fucking.
Listen to it. She tells exactly what it is. It's from Sephora.
I'll order tonight.
I will order it in droves and buckets, and I will fucking just like dip my lips in it and soak them for 20 minutes. Because I'm like, shut the fuck up. You look like you sucked on a shot glass. But she insists it's fucking lip gloss. But you got to listen to her episode. It's really great.
Okay.
So this bitch is the prime example of what she just said. I will give her advice. And I learned my lesson, thankfully.
She doesn't want your advice.
And she's like, oh, yeah, no, for sure, Jay. Yeah, totally. Like,
she's
whatever.
Just
and her
your
weird.
sister. That's different.
And then she not only doesn't take it, she does the exact motherfucking opposite of whatever I say. And I learned this and I go like, so now when she comes to me with a problem, I go like, I don't know. What do you think you should do? Because I'm like, I give zero fucks. I'm not going to waste. First of all, not to blow smoke up my own ass, but I give amazing advice when there's something similar that I've gone through. She agrees, clearly.
No, I do agree, but I'm just laughing because I'm like, this is your pet peeve. Is you're like, I
hate it.
4 times a week, you're like,
can I tell you why I hate it?
I told this person, because people come to you, like you're somebody that I've noticed that like people come to you all the time out of the fucking woodwork. And like they vent to you, and then you're like, this is my dream, is to give you advice. And then you give the advice, and then you see them like whatever later, and they're like, no, I didn't do any of that.
It's just advice into a black hole.
And they're like, oh, but I need to vent to you again. And then you're like, wait, but we already saw, okay, let's do this again. And then you're like, after the third time, you're like, I don't understand.
No. So for the last couple, like I would say, let's not say a couple years, maybe a year, 18 months, I've gone, fuck you guys. Like, if you're not going to fucking, I have. Like, if you're not going to take my advice, I'll listen to you. Tell me what you think you should fucking do about it. Because I know you're not going to fucking listen to anything I say. And I realize like you can't force someone to learn what the fuck to do until they actually have the life experience to do it. So 1000% she's right. The Pinot Noir wrote this answer. I'm just going to say.
Wait, what did you say? Oh my God. What did you say?
You're going to be able to tell a story about this because we've come a long way.
What did you say?
Someone who talks more than I do.
First of all, who? Name one person.
Nobody. Yes. I won't let them.
You don't. So it's not a pet peeve because it doesn't exist.
It's my worst nightmare, but it's not a pet peeve.
Yeah, it's your worst nightmare. But
Lindsey,
also, there's no way.
Lindsey has very good stories. Go ahead about you not being able to.
Should I talk now? Is that okay?
Here we go.
Okay. No.
I wanted to give you guys all real reality.
How long do I
on what we're talking
have?
about.
4 seconds to get this whole story out?
No. I'll give you 7.
Oh, awesome. Mm-hmm. So we went on a trip together and we were gone for like 3 weeks.
What trip? Which one?
We were in Florida together.
Okay. Yeah.
And I don't know how many. 3 weeks is insane, but it was a long time.
This is such good
And every single day I was trying to tell her a story. And I'd be like, oh, that reminds me. I have to tell you about the thing. And you'd be like, yes, but oh my God, first. And then 4 hours of Janine. And then I'd be like, okay. So the next day I'd be like, wait, I didn't tell you. Or you'd be like, oh, wait, you didn't tell me the thing. Or mostly me reminding you. And we went through the whole trip. And we got back to LA and I was like, at some point I should tell you that story.
We were on the other side of the country.
Then years passed and then it just became a thing of like, one day I might tell you that story and you'd always be like, ha, ha, ha. Anyway, I have a story for you. Like it was never like, oh my fucking God. I haven't let you tell a story. It's been years. That's insane. And we were together every day of that whole trip and I never heard it. You would just be like, ha, 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 funny. Anyway, let me keep talking.
Yes, this was 7 years ago and I still don't know the story.
I don't even remember what the story was, but I for sure never told it. You don't know it.
She never told it. I'm awful.
If I did, you probably took a phone call in the middle of it or something.
Do you think I've gotten better at that? I've really tried to work on it.
You honestly have. Like, and it's not evil or like
no,
and it's not even annoying because it's whatever you're.
It's just like trying to be
very
interesting.
Entertaining, but it's just very funny that I was like, I'm just trying to tell this one fucking story that was very relatable to the time too, and it wasn't like. I'll tell you the story about how I lost my shoes at the beach. It was some story that was like meaningful too.
I deeply regret not hearing it, and I'm so sad that you forgot what it was because of my doing.
I'll think about it.
Okay. I'm so sorry.
No, I feel like I did eventually tell you, but it was like by the time I told it to you're like, well,
you probably
it's out of
did.
context now.
We have a last piece of paper left.
Okay, we're doing one more.
Okay, so wait, so what's your sign, Lindsay? Your zodiac sign?
Taurus.
All right, I'm a Virgo.
Okay.
I don't know if we're supposed to be getting along or not. Do you know? I don't really
Well, I fucking hope so
stuff.
because my husband's a Virgo, so.
Oh, that could explain a lot. No,
we should do a breakdown of that.
Wait, I don't have my phone. Do you have your phone?
Yeah.
Look up like compatibility of Virgo and Taurus or whatever the fuck.
What's the compatibility of a Virgo and a Taurus?
Here we go. I think they butt heads. I used to follow astrology.
Virgos are compatible with Taurus because as fellow earth signs, they are less likely to encounter the types of differences that sink many relationships, be it romantic or platonic. Taurus may have a calming influence on the often neurotic Virgo, who seems always worried or unsettled about something.
You guys heard it here first. Astrology is bullshit. No, that's actually true, but I feel like
it's actually kind of true.
Reversed.
You think I'm neurotic?
I mean, I feel like compared to Jason, no.
I'm so sorry. You think that you calm me?
I tried to calm you.
You do, but also what Tauruses are known for is being like bulls and being like stubborn, hard-headed, whatever.
Yeah, that's you.
But that's not like neurotic. Or
but
like,
Virgos are like perfectionists. They want to please. They're people pleasers.
Yes. For me, I'm not a people. I'm like loyal. Okay, let's break down each other's things.
Go to Taurus and Virgo. Okay. Do it.
Okay.
I'm listening.
I'm gonna first do Taurus because you don't know it.
I think my grandmother.
I'm trying to find a short one. When was she born? Because it's a May sign, end of April. So because it's a May sign.
Oh no, the guy I lost my virginity to is a Taurus.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, it's another story for another episode.
Okay, what is the Taurus sign known for? We'll just do a quick thing.
Yes.
Okay, it is the second of the 12 and it is represented by the bull.
Mm-hmm.
They're known to be intelligent, dependable, hardworking, dedicated, and stubborn.
Okay.
Is that enough?
Yeah. And then
Okay.
what about Virgo?
So
Do
that's
the
what a
same
Virgo.
little blip on
Yeah.
Virgo. Do you feel like that fits you? Like, is that
Yeah,
really-
it always fit me
Okay.
because it's like
Whatever I've read about Virgo has as well, but let's see what your phone says. Because with your hard-headedness, maybe your phone's programmed to say something different.
well, it knows also that I'm okay. Okay, I'm trying to find that little blip again.
Virgo.
The thing it says high Virgo compatibility is Scorpio, Capricorn, Taurus, and Cancer. Like it's a high.
Oh, my grandmother was a Cancer.
Okay. Okay. Michael Jackson was a Virgo. Paul Walker, Cameron Diaz. Okay. What type of person? So Virgos are known for being practical, sensible, and loyal. They make excellent friends and partners. They're known. Excuse me. They are known for being perfectionists and can be meticulous and single-minded in their pursuit of improvement.
Okay. Do you feel like that fits me?
Yeah.
Yeah?
100%.
And Jason?
Yep.
So Jason's birthday is the day after mine.
In a funny, like, different way. Like,
not only are her husband and I very alike, but his birthday is the day after my birthday. So that also, I do feel like there's something to this zodiac astrology thing, right? Because every time I read about the characteristics of a Virgo, which is like, I think it goes from August 22nd to September 22nd. Oh, look up Clark. He's Leo, I think, because he's September 22nd.
No, Leo is August.
Yeah, but I think it's September 22nd to August 22nd, or August 22nd to September 22nd. No, what is it?
No. It's early August. That's you. What's
Clark,
happening?
no, I'm Virgo, Leo.
He's not Leo.
He's September 28th. Look it up. What is it? I think he's a Leo. No?
100% not. I'll kill myself live on camera.
Zodiac
right now
killer. She's going to kill herself live on camera. Please. This is about to go viral.
Libra.
Okay. Like I said, Libra. I pronounce it differently. I say Leo. What's his characteristics?
Okay.
This is about my husband, guys. You ready? Who has yet to be on the fucking podcast.
Yeah. Okay. Libras are extremely agreeable and honest people who believe strongly in the importance of social connections. Libras are among the most fascinating and intelligent individuals on the planet. They have a lot to give. Libras are recognized for their charm, beauty, and well-balanced personalities.
The only thing I agree on is he is extremely agreeable, which is the first thing.
No, I agree
extremely
with all that.
intelligent. You agree with all that? That's why you and Clark.
It said intelligent?
First thing. Extremely intelligent. That's fucking bold.
Let me see. No. Libras are extremely agreeable and honest people. It didn't say anything about intelligence anywhere in here. Libras are among the most fascinating and intelligent individuals on the planet.
Yeah. Okay. Intelligent, like special? What do you mean?
Yeah, just intelligent.
I will say that Clark sometimes says things to me, and I'm like, what does that word mean? Like he says, he's like a writer, and he goes, and he's like, but and you know, Janine, and he uses a word, and I go, what the fuck? Who are you talking to? Are you doing like a fucking PowerPoint presentation? I'm just a normal girl from a small town in upstate New York. I don't need all this fucking extra. And if I got to look up words in the dictionary for us to maintain a conversation, there's a fucking problem. Anyway, Lindsay, do you want to ask the last question of us or should I? I don't know.
No, you should.
Okay. I got to think of something. About our friendship.
But here's the thing I will say about Taurus. This is why we get along.
This is you?
Yes.
Okay.
Tauruses have a regal quality about them. I didn't mean to read that. Regal. Like royal.
I got it.
Okay. I didn't know if this is a word. They are graceful and diligent laborers. They can be stubborn and bullheaded and set in their ways, but they are also great listeners and are very dependable.
Because I never shut the fuck up, so that's what I need.
This is why we get along. And also, that is true for me because I do prefer to listen and watch.
What's December 23rd?
Who's that?
Just look it up and I'll tell you after.
Oh, God. December 23rd, Zodiac. Okay. Capricorn.
Capricorn and Virgo. Now Google Capricorn and Virgo.
Okay.
Let's see what it says.
Capricorn
and Virgo. Let's see what they say about
And-
Capricorn and Virgos. And then we're going to really test the zodiac, astrology, whatever the fuck.
A Virgo and a Capricorn couple is the amalgamation of two extremely intelligent and conscientious individuals who are brilliant in their own ways. These two represent a steady and rational relationship that is envied by the people around them. Virgo and Capricorn, their love life are in, wait. Virgo and Capricorn love lives are incredibly success oriented as well. Are they a good match? They're super compatible because they share similar values. They're both hardworking, driven, committed to what they want in life. They approach relationships in a similar way, as both signs like to take things slow and are more trusting before trusting a new person.
Okay, so lesson learned on tonight's podcast. The zodiac system could be great and accurate, or it could be total bullshit. I'm going to give you an example. What she just read was the signs of myself and that person that I used to be friends with that was my matron of honor.
Okay.
So I think the lesson learned here is this. And I used to be
But life is still life. And
Life
it also
is life.
talks more about you guys being lovers. So
Yes.
You didn't make love with her. So
we were not scissor sisters, so I can't tell you. So my point is this, is that I think this. I used to be super into zodiac. Like years ago, I was like super into it.
I still kind of like it.
Here's the thing. A lot of it is accurate, right? But I think that like most of who you are is what you fucking decide to be. Like,
Well, there's still
I used to
environment
read
and
my
upbringing
fucking
and
my
whatever.
what is it called, horoscope every day, and I'd be like, oh, this is the kind of day I'm gonna have, and I'm like, fuck that, I'm gonna have the day I want to have because this is the motherfucking day I'm gonna have. What kind of day I'm gonna say I'm gonna have? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Anyway, we have one
It can
piece of
help
paper
have a deeper understanding of somebody in a way where you're like, oh, I guess
for sure.
knowing that I'm stubborn can help someone deal with that. Like
Totally.
knowing that my kids are certain signs, I'm like,
And like as a
okay,
Virgo, like when it says like
they're more
perfectionist, I'm
sensitive.
like, yes, I am, because I'm very hard on myself if I don't do something like
Yeah.
fucking perfect. I hate it. So I'm not saying
Yeah.
it's all bullshit.
Yeah.
Just saying that one part about my matron
But
of
some
honor
of
is
it's
bullshit.
more or less intense based on environment and upbringing and blah, blah, blah. Okay, what's this last one?
What is the one thing about our friendship
Okay.
that you think will carry us into the future and be friends until we don't know each other's names anymore and we're in hospice? I'm just kidding. That's really fucked up.
Sounds great. Oh, not hospice, but being in a
No,
nursing
so we'll have
home.
someone come visit us at our mansions because we're not going to go to hospice. That's gross. You know what I mean?
Hospice is where you go to die. You mean a nursing home?
I don't know what I mean. I just mean that we're so old we don't know who the fuck
We're not
each
going to
other are.
hospice together. We're going to go to like a nurse. We go to assisted living.
But assisted living, like a nice one.
Yeah,
What
but
do
it
you-
would be great.
What
Just
do
think
you?
about it. We have our own little rooms. Then we go into the middle and we like play video games and just watch fucking TV. And they
Last
bring
of
us
Us
our
4.
food.
Yes. Okay.
Last of Us 4. It'd be Last of Us 64. But yeah, sure.
So what do you think would be the one thing about our friendship right now
Okay.
that is the reason why we would make it, like we would stay friends for the rest of our lives? You know what I mean? Like what's the one thing that keeps our friendship so strong?
Okay.
This is way better than anything on Reddit, guys.
Better than anything on Reddit. Reddit's like a chat room. Like,
I know, but it's great and they have great stories, and this is better than any of that, like, because it's real.
Mm-hmm.
Not that that's not real, but this is like,
this is real life.
mine's real deep. What'd you say?
Because I've never hooked up with Clark.
I went full emotion on this, so fuck me. I said can say anything to each other and still love each other fully. So
That's true.
fucking sappy Virgo over here. Oh, I do think that will be the thing. Like I don't, so
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of friends that I could literally say whatever the fuck I want to.
Anything, yeah.
And even if there's a consequence, I know I could fix it.
Yeah,
As much
because
as I
we
do with
because
you.
even but it's never been like, I can't believe you said that. It's more like you're approaching me wrong.
Yeah.
And I'm too pissed to care.
But there's most of my friends, I go like, I'm careful about what I say. Or I go, okay, let me like think about how I want to word this. I don't have that reservation with you.
But there's something interesting about that. Like one person I fight with is my husband because it's like we're like legally bound, we're sick, whatever. So it's interesting that I'm like, but I know we're going to be okay.
Yeah.
So I feel the same way where I'm like, even if we fight, I know I'm not in any way worried of like, that's the end of our friendship.
No, I never have that thought.
Yeah.
Like I'm like,
That's
maybe
how
take for
strong it
granted
is.
that I know that that's not a possibility that I go too far because I know that we'll never go too far. You know what I mean? Like, you know, guys, I think that the moral of this podcast is get a fucking best friend that, and I think the definition for me of a best friend is, and Lindsay will tell us what her definition of it is someone that you could safely say anything to and know that there is a consequence, but regardless of it, you could still get through it. And that's your fucking best friend. That is your person.
Yeah.
And value that person. And also like, I don't want to say like abuse that or like, you know, say things to them that you can't, like you want to treat people with respect and love. Like I never talk to her in a certain way because I know she's always going to be there. Like I don't take that for granted. Right. But I feel like a lot of other relationships I have in my life anyway, I don't know if this is like the same for everyone else, but like you are making sure you're being professional or making sure you're like, you have your like P's and Q's together and you're like, okay, I have to, you know, but like there has to be someone in your life that you have that you could say whatever the fuck you want to. And at the end of the day, they're still going to be like, dude, I love you. It's okay. I'm here for you. And like, that is what helps get us through the day. Like everyone needs that person. So
Yeah.
that is my message. I don't know.
I mean, I agree with all of it. I feel like it's for each person too. It's like finding somebody that has the same like vibe as you too. Cause some people won't want it to be super open like that.
Yeah.
But whatever's just like perfect for you and that person so that you feel just so comfortable.
Yeah. Yeah. And also someone that uses a lot of like supplements. And
I don't use that many supplements. Supplements are just the vitamins.
There was a lot of counter space. And then I went into the bathroom.
That was, by the way, just what I take with me on trips.
On trips.
That was my trip stuff.
That's the travel size.
That was just my travel. Yeah.
I think we're going to have another. Would you come on again? Would you be willing to come on again?
Absolutely.
Okay. So we need to have another self-care episode with Lindsay.
Okay.
Because you are a professional in the area, I feel.
I've done a lot of research, I will
And
say.
she's also very like, she uses things that are safe on her skin. Like she's super...
I do research. I watch a ton of YouTube as far as breaking down like beauty stuff. And then also I've seen professionals and I know what's toxic and not and whatever.
This is good. So we're going to have a separate self-care with Lindsay episode. She's already agreed to it. She's locked in. We're going to do that. And I want to personally tell you how much I appreciate your time in coming here.
This has been
I love
perfect.
you.
Oh my God, I love you too.
I love you so much. You're like, if you had a penis, I would divorce Clark.
Why do I need a penis? We can buy a penis.
I don't know. Actually, we could buy a penis. We could do that now.
You know what? Let's do it.
This is awful.
Next time we tune in, we'll be divorced and together.
With strap. I'm joking. Nothing. Stop it. Okay. I really appreciate you.
I just also love that you're like, whatever, I have to yes and it and keep going.
If I could just end it with Clark and keep going with you. No. No, seriously. I love that you came here and you did this. I really appreciate it. And
thanks for having me.
Oh my God. Again, we're going to have her again for supplement night care routine, not traveling, like at home. What the fuck are you doing every day?
There's night and day.
Oh,
Different things.
this is going to be a whole nother, maybe it'll be a series. I don't know. Do you know what I'm saying? But we're going to figure it out. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I really appreciate you. We love you. Lindsay, thank you.
You're welcome.
You've been wonderful. Okay. I will see you guys next week. I so appreciate you. This Indian Pinot Noir is full effect because it's tea. It doesn't matter. Okay. We love you. Bye.